And I mean, it's not looking good for them right now. Chase already beamed down to no HP. Looks like Catchings is off by himself right now, getting the serious pressure of the three-man teams pretty much swarming in. But hold up. Posey looking to turn around. Okay, he is going to find Pose here.
Finds the angle, really good angle so far, but never mind, Catchings goes down, so Cozy and Chase have to do something big, and I love these steamy fights. They're so exciting. It always falls into more of a box fight, but Zone is right on them right now. They need to be careful, and yes, they do capitalize on this. No, still has one play left to go deal with. Takes down Trap, and no, almost clutches it up. That turned out to almost be a 1v3 situation, and it is. It's good guy Nani who...
Yeah, it seems like something definitely went in their favor. You can see that it is a Dirty Dogs drop spot because the floppers that were in the inventory, if I had to guess off of that alone.
Yep.
And they're on an early rotate here. Day doesn't even have max materials, so they straight up capped out, hit the weapon upgrades, and then moved out. I think they're trying to make up for the fact that, like I said originally, they were down on average elims as far as what they were used to, the pacing that they were coming into this all with. This time, though, Scented, Edgy, and Commandment seem like the team that they want to pick a fight with. This is kind of scary because they know this drop spot is contested by them. They know this is the collision course they're on.
Oh, that was so
to
smart.
Edgy.
I was gonna say, such a big wide split. Day Miro drawing the attention over on that big split on the other side of Stark, knowing that would make Edgy, Sentinel, Commandment peek up, and then would get the massive headshot from reverse. That was so smart. And I don't think they're pushing the fight. I think they're just happy with those tags maybe because, yeah, like you said, if you were looking to be aggressive in the mid game and have a straight 3v3 fight, Scented, Edgy, and Commandment is already not the team to do it on. And if they have Stark's loot, even more not the team to do it on. But Day Miro and reverse are being aggressed on, and this is an interesting fight. They really want this high ground. I have to think this team needed their Storm Surge tags, and this is how they thought they were going to get it. And maybe it was. Reverse goes down here. Miro's got no shield. It's up to Day to try and do something massive. This is so unfortunate for a team I expected more of right now, but never mind. Narwhal goes down. Day can still do something here. He drops out of the floor. He's got that purple pump.
Yeah, and the Storm Surge actually going off for trapped up above. I'm pretty sure I saw him get tagged there, and you can see Miro's going to get found out as he tries to get away. It's not going to be enough,
and I had a feeling about that. So at the same time, I want to say it's unfortunate, but I saw that coming as well. You know, with this many players alive, with Storm Surge threshold that high, there was going to be some desperate teams, and they just didn't cover themselves. They're up on the top, and they didn't identify the threat that was ramping up on them. So as much as I want to say unfortunate for the team that I've expected to do really well today, I think that was a bit of a misplay on their part, but it means they can fix it up as no Who Fishy goes down now. So Chap, Coop, and Who Fishy falling into a little bit of stray here right now. This team seemed to be going really aggressive onto them, and Slays needs a lot out of this. Slays and Sav Toner, they don't have the best loot.
Yeah, and before this, that's because Who Fishing them were on that Storm Surge. Like we said, they had to find the fight, and it seems like it draw too much attention coming in. And these guys have 4 elims, so Slays has found a few of them just from third-partying this, and now Coop's gonna fall as well. And that's the finish of them. They're out of the game right there. I think that was an instant elimination. Chap no longer being in the running as well. So if I had to guess, I thought they did just enough, though. Just enough. And, of course, pulled in a Victory Royale, which sometimes it comes down to just that here. I mean, if you've been paying attention to all the tournaments up until now, you see, like, this top 8 is hard to break into. It's a lot harder than people think. You can't drop the ball as Shark gets taken out on the rotate here. A little bit of a letdown on the guard, and one missing wall is all it took to get 3-2-1 by another team in the distance. Oh, brother. Forcing everyone to sit down below. Those guys in the bottom portion of the map are going to have the toughest time to move upwards if the zone pulls. Here's a team, 41 damage below the storage. Have to jump into something now. Looking for any tags possible. Now 6 below. 1 tag is all it's going to take to at least stay alive for a little longer. But for how long? Because they're going to need more than just that. And that's how Xsec gets taken out. It's by Yuzi, Skibus, and Menace here who had Storm Surge issues. So they get dived on.
This is their chance now. They need to start picking up the pace because they've only got 6 more games to do it as Walkman goes down in the feed, and that's our 6th place team. So you can just tell if you missed yesterday, this is just telling you how close this leaderboard is as now they get another elimination, and that is onto a Minish, which is Walkman's team. So massive switches up in the leaderboard in game 1.
Yeah, that's it. Now 6th is out of the competition as well. And, I mean, you said it best. It's going to make it very, very interesting. It's looking like today could be the day of upsets. And, honestly, with how many of the top-tier teams are stomped out, that's going to make our bubble competition so good for the remainder of the day. It's like the pros and the cons. Great for the competition, terrible for the fans that are rooting for the big names because now this game's already setting up to be different. It's going to work out, though, for like Zum, Skittles, and Ronaldo here, right? So there are still other players that are trying to rank their way up. 4 elims already. It's a very good start for this mid game.
And that's what this broadcast is for, and that's what FNCS is for. We haven't seen a team game mode FNCS for a few seasons now. There's going to be a few names that we just don't know about who've been putting in the hours, and this is their chance to show up, and they're going to have to show up really big, though, because 12-game formats, that's a bit harder, because there's a lot of consistent teams up there right now, but it's a new day. Skittles, Zum, and Ronaldo need to have a better day than they did yesterday. They're still in that middle pack, which is where they've been when they played in the qualifiers, but they need to do better. They can't be 14th. They need to be top 8, and that's a great start to it. 2 shockwaves already, too. If they can get this finished, they can maybe get some of that loot. They're in such a good spot as there's 18 teams live, 47 players, so a decently stacked game, Monster, but NA's picking up the pace.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like people are much more in their groove, much more confident coming in with the new game plans. Remember, since it's day 2, they had the whole entire day 1 to look back at what went wrong, what went right, and how to manipulate the play style, the game plan, the strategy, and come in with a much stronger performance today. And it's looking like Ronaldo is doing just that. I mean, they are already leading in eliminations right now. They have to be up there with 5 coming into this final first moving zone. This is just a couple seconds to get going, and I mean, there's loot still left and right. They might need to go pick some of this up, because if you look at it, they've gone through a fair share of it.
They've gone through a fair share of it as well, and they're on the opposite side of where Zone's going, but they're still looking in a decent spot, but they're on the low ground, and that's where I'm a little bit scared. This team, we've seen them perform well, but it's very rarely that low ground control. But then again, there's a few teams out of this. The team that we haven't seen anything about, and maybe it's because we've been focusing on the low ground, we haven't seen the eyes in the sky, is Centered, Edgy, and Commandment. As Menace is pushing forward, though, saying, pay attention to me. Smarty goes down here. He's looking for where the body went. Who else is here? Good Guy Nani still in the feed as well, and that is their team picking up the finish. They didn't get the elimination, but they're still in this, so this is a team we haven't seen much about, Monster, and they're okay, but they've got 4 eliminations on the board, but not a lot of shield. And no, it's not Centered, Edgy, and Commandment. They're on the low ground. We have a new potential team on the high ground.
Yeah, definitely, but I'm seeing players like Leo, Nate, Ved still alive there as well. That's a team that's also on the bubble here, 13th place. Here's Kyra, Strobe, and Gush. Also, just outside of the big question, can all these new teams with these big games, these big performances, all of a sudden thrust themselves up into a top 15, top 20-ish bubble mark? Because right now, the way it's looking with how many teams are in shambles and are falling, it's looking like it's going to be that. We're looking at a brand new story here. Kyra trying to get up on the wall. He actually grabs it. There's 3 behind it. And all of a sudden now he has to back up. He has to think twice about this one. Okay, time to get back to the teammates and play for the zone.
Yeah, he's playing aggressive there, trying to get a bit of a refresh, but you're right. He picked the right time to go back to his team. He needs to be careful because it's pretty split up as Aspect getting elimination in the feed too. So a lot of those names on the bubble are still in this
Edgy's
one.
Down.
1,000 above Storm Surge. Edgy goes down, gets the knock on a Nobu, and that's going to be massive because that could be the siphon that Kyra needs. Doesn't have time to get the minis off. Maybe that extra 50 shield could do massive things there. As we have a solo on the high ground, we haven't seen this much, and this shows it's the low ground heat. We've been talking about this time and time again. There is one player on the high ground, and nobody is looking up.
Yeah, no one's looking up, but finally someone is going to break that structure out. It's going to be Good Guy Nani and Trap there, and you can see the crash pads coming in all of a sudden, going to create a little bit of chaos there. In the mid ground, though, trying to work his way up, Scented here is with Commandment. These two are the IGL/Tarpers of the crew. If there's anyone that at least knows how to navigate the end game the best in this trio, it's these two right here, especially since Commandment is the one who tends to take over the tarps. Now, though, they have to work together as a duo right now. Menace still lighting things up, showing us that he has arrived. He is still fragging out right now, as is Ved.
Ooh,
finally,
good shots there right
nice
now.
Elim.
Big pick. Censored gets the massive elimination from behind, and that legendary pump with that epic Stark rifle is going to have a really good follow-up fire, and there it is again, another one. 7 eliminations right now, so they're doing so well on this low and mid ground, and we mostly saw them on height yesterday, but Ronaldo's still in this. Skittles is still there as well, but the fight for high ground's going out. Zuni's and Aspect are trying to take it, and they're going to need to take it as fast as they can, because they've still got some sharks below them. It's not just about getting the high ground, it's about holding it, but never mind. Commandment and Censored are running amok through the low ground. They don't have the mobility to take the high ground at the end, though, Monster, so it's going to come down to a good old firepower, but 13 eliminations between them. They've already done enough.
Yeah, and Aspect and Zuni's have the advantage right now with a little mounting clip playing into their favor here. Strobe's trying to just move his way around. Sented's still alive, though. What can he do? Can he find a couple more Elims? They have such a big lead, but it doesn't matter. He's going to fall into 3rd place, and now it's a 2v2 for high ground. Aspect, Zuni's 200 HP for the bulk of them, and they have shockwaves. It's not looking good. It's going back and forth here in the tracking. It's all in Aspect's favor. He's going to find one of the two. It's just a matter of they can close out at this point, and it's looking like they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, we got Kyga going way out of Storm Kyra, sorry. So they do Zuni's and Aspect went down in the mid game, so they must have got the revive off. And
you know, I don't know. 13 eliminations, so, you know, it's still pretty dangerous, Shy. I mean...
Yeah, from like 8th all the way over to 2nd for NA East Heat number 2. It's looking like just, you know, overall, a 15-point kind of game.